Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about whether Eleanor of Aquitaine murdered her husband, King Henry II of England's mistress. Eleanor of Aquitaine was born in around 1122 and she was the daughter of William X, Duke of Aquitaine. Duke William died in April 1137 and as his only child, Eleanor became ruler of Aquitaine. 3 months after she became Duchess of Aquitaine, Eleanor married Louis, the son of the King of France, who became King Louis VII of France a few weeks after their marriage. But after 15 years of marriage, the marriage was not a happy one, and so it was annulled. Their marriage was annulled on the 21st of March 1152, with Louis keeping custody of their children, who were 2 daughters, and Eleanor having her lands of Aquitaine restored back to her, because of course when a woman married a man back in those days, all of her property transferred over to the man. So as soon as her annulment to Louis was granted, Eleanor became engaged to Henry Plantagenet, Duke of Normandy, and they were married on the 18th of May 1152. Henry was the eldest son of Empress Matilda, who was the daughter and only surviving heir of King Henry I of England. So before he had died, King Henry I had made all his nobles and barons swear that they would support Matilda as his heir to the English throne. But when Henry died, his nephew Stephen, who's Matilda's cousin, basically went in and took the throne, and all the nobles and barons supported him instead. So this started a 19-year civil war between Matilda and Stephen called the Anarchy. The war ended with the agreement that Stephen would keep the throne until his death, and then instead of passing to one of Stephen's sons, it will pass to Matilda's eldest son, Henry, which it did 2 years after Eleanor and Henry got married. On the 19th of December 1154, Henry and Eleanor became King and Queen of England. They had 8 children together, 2 of those children becoming King of England, but soon their marriage broke down and they ended up separating. So in maybe around 1166, we don't really know for sure, Henry met a lovely young woman called Rosamund Clifford. Rosamund was the daughter of Walter and Margaret de Clifford and was considered to be England's greatest beauty. Henry publicly acknowledged Rosamund as his mistress in 1174. Now Henry had had mistresses before, as did all important royal people, but Rosamund was different. Henry really loved Rosamund, and some historians say that Rosamund was actually the greatest love of Henry's life. He prepared this great house for her with beautiful gardens and a maze where he and Rosamund would meet. But Eleanor was jealous of their relationship. One day Eleanor followed Rosamund into the maze, finding her way with a stray bit of silk, and when she found Rosamund, Eleanor gave her an ultimatum. Rosamund had to die, but Eleanor let her choose her way of death, either by poison or a dagger. Rosamund chose the poison and so died. But did Eleanor really murder her love rival? No, she did not. It is very unlikely that Eleanor killed Rosamund, because at the time of Rosamund's death in 1176, Eleanor had been in prison in Winchester Castle and had been there since 1174. Henry had imprisoned Eleanor in the castle after she had helped her sons in a revolt against him. So we first hear about Eleanor finding Rosamund in the maze in the 1300s in the French Chronicle of London, 200 years after Rosamund's death. But then in the 1500s there is another story that says Eleanor had Rosamund stabbed and then burnt, and then while still alive put in a scalding hot bath and left to die. And then in 1611, the offer of poison or a dagger appears in the Maze story. But Rosamund was neither poisoned or stabbed when she died. She died at Godstone Nunnery of causes unknown. But why the legends? Why throughout history has Rosamund been portrayed as this poor innocent victim and Eleanor as this jealous murderer? So in her lifetime, Eleanor wasn't really like that much. There was this whole issue when she went on crusade with her husband, the King of France. And then there's this whole rumour about her having a sexual relationship with her uncle. And then in England, when her son Richard was king, the people did not like her that much after she had to raise the taxes a lot after Richard had been captured to pay for his ransom. But why would this bother people like 200, 300 or even 400 years later? Now, Eleanor was actually a very powerful woman. She was Duchess of Aquitaine in her own right. She had been Queen Consort of France. She had been Queen Consort of England, and she was also Regent of England while her son Richard was off on these crusades. Maybe these stories just come down to good old-fashioned misogyny. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.